At my wife's work party, I expected an evening of small talk, polite smiles, and her showing me off to her colleagues. I wasn't prepared for one of her coworkers to try and get under my skin the way he did. From the moment we arrived, I noticed him watching me with this smug expression, like he was waiting for me to mess up. He hovered around my wife, laughing too loudly at her jokes and leaning in closer than necessary. I could tell she was uncomfortable, but she tried to brush it off for the sake of professionalism. When I finally joined their circle, he sized me up like I was some nobody who didn't belong there. He made little comments under his breath, asking me if I was just the plus one or if I even understood what kind of work they did at the firm. Every word felt like a jab, and I could see others shifting uncomfortably as he spoke. My wife's cheeks turned red with embarrassment, and that was when I knew he wasn't just trying to tease me. He wanted to put me down in front of her. What he didn't know was that I wasn't just my wife's husband tagging along. I had been keeping a low profile for years because I wanted her to shine in her own career without anyone assuming her success was tied to me. What her coworker didn't realize was that I had once been an executive at a competing firm, someone who had built projects and companies he'd probably studied in college. I had retired early after selling my business, and I chose to live quietly rather than flaunt who I was, so I stayed calm. I answered his snide questions with patience, letting him dig himself deeper. Then the moment came, one of the senior managers, who clearly recognized me, walked over and shook my hand like we were old friends. His eyes widened when he heard my name, and suddenly the room shifted. The same coworker who had been mocking me turned pale, stammering about how he had heard of my work, and how it was such an honor to meet me. My wife just looked at me, half shocked, half proud, because I had never really told her the full weight of my past. Later, as we drove home, she squeezed my hand and whispered, "You didn't have to stay so humble, but I'm glad you did." I told her it was because I wanted people to see her for who she was, not just as my wife. That night, I realized something important. Sometimes the greatest strength isn't proving yourself on the spot, but letting the truth reveal itself when it matters most. Proud and full of love,